All right, I call this meeting to order at 6:07 p.m. For anyone who is watching this meeting and would like to provide public comments, you must email your comments to publiccomments@cityofmenifee.us for the deputy city clerk to read prior to the item being heard. Could the clerk please call roll?
Commissioner Ledoux,
Here.
Commissioner Thomas,
Here.
Commissioner White,
Here.
Vice Chair Madrid, and Chair Diedrich.
Here. Commissioner White, can I get you to lead the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Excellent.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you for that. Moving on to item 4, presentations. It appears we have none tonight. All right, thank you. Moving on to item number 5, agenda approval or modifications. Are there any modifications to the agenda tonight?
None this evening.
None this evening, all right. Can I get a motion and a second to approve the agenda?
So moved.
I'll second.
Thank you. I don't see the voting option up on the screen. Is that?
I apologize. Can I get the mover? Who moved the
I do. Commissioner
Commissioner White, and who was the second?
Lydia.
Thank you. And I'm going to ask, can I get an all in favor?
White. Aye.
Passed 5-0.
Thank you. All right. Item number 6, public comments. For anyone who is watching this meeting and would like to provide public comments, you must email your comments to publiccomments@cityofmenifee.us for the deputy clerk to read prior to the item being heard. Clerk, are there any requests to speak tonight?
We do not have any requests.
All right, thank you. Moving on then to item number 7, approval of the minutes. 7.1, approving the February 10th, 2021 Planning Commission minutes. Can I get approval of those minutes?
I think we got the electronic voting.
It's working this time?
Yes, thank you. And those pass 5-0.
Great. Item number 8, consent calendar. No items tonight, correct?
Correct.
All right. Item number 9, public hearing items. The first item tonight is item 9.1, Kingdom Hall reconstruction, plot plan number PLN 19-0065. Community Development Director, can you introduce this, please?
Thank you, Chair, members of the Commission. Associate Planner Russell Brown will be giving the presentation tonight.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Commission members, and a special welcome to Commissioner Ledoux, Commissioner White. Russell Brown, Associate Planner here with the City of Menifee. The project before you tonight is plot plan number PLN 19-0065. The project is located in the community of Sun City, east of Murrieta Road, south of Sun City Boulevard, north of Potomac Drive at 29101 Del Monte Drive. Sorry, its pointer's a little delayed here. The general plan land use designation of the site is 2.1 to 5 dwelling units per acre residential. The current zone of the site is low density residential, LDR-2, and the previous zone when the project application was deemed complete was multiple family dwellings R2. The general plan land use and zoning designations for the surrounding properties is the same as the subject site. The applicant is proposing to demolish the existing site, building and parking lot. The existing building is 5,381 square foot. They are proposing a new 3,312 square foot building, which consists of an 1,800 square foot auditorium and 2 meeting rooms. The proposed site plan, which, so in front of you here is the proposed site plan, which shows the 1.43 acre improved site. The proposed building is in a similar location and also proposes a similar orientation as the existing building. Based on the building's square footage of the auditorium, 53 parking spaces are required, 67 are currently being proposed. So on the screen here is the proposed landscape plan. The applicant is proposing over 32,000 square foot of proposed landscape area. The proposed site will have a minimum 10-foot wide landscape buffer along the entire perimeter. There's an existing 5-foot high masonry block wall along the rear property line or the southern property line, and a 5-foot block wall along the eastern or right side property line. The hours of operation are being proposed are similar to what's existing. Daily hours are from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Generally speaking, there's not always someone being occupying the building at that time, but those are their general hours of operation, 7 to 10, with no on-site activities to occur after 10 p.m. Weekdays, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Primarily consists of small group meeting, administration meetings. And 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. on the weekdays is proposed Bible study or group study. And the weekends are your typical or common regular worship and other common religious facility activities. The proposed project does not consist of any outdoor activities, food preparation or cooking facilities, daycare or preschool activities. And there's no amplified music being proposed. And the church or the Kingdom Hall does not propose to rent or lease out the building for other uses other than church-related activities. On the screen here is the proposed architecture. As most everyone knows here, Sun City was developed in the early 1960s as a low-profile ranch-style community. The proposed building is compatible with the existing theme of the community, with the single-level design elements and shake roof, stucco siding, stone veneer, and a rustic trim with earthen tone colors. The front elevation or southern elevation contains the primary entrance. It also faces the proposed parking lot. A portico is being proposed over the main entrance, and it's comprised of stone support columns, and a stone veneer wainscot below the front windows. So the city did receive public comment on the project, which primarily consisted of questions regarding the construction activities on site and as well as the on-site lighting or proposed lighting. The construction hours are listed in Chapter 8.01 of the Municipal Code, and they are to be Monday through Saturday, 6:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. No work is permitted on Sundays or city holidays. And for dust control measures, the project is conditioned to comply with South Coast Air Quality Rule 403, which, amongst other things, requires watering frequently of the site to keep the dust down, as well as covering any sort of large stockpiles to prevent, being a dusty and major disturbance to the surrounding residences. So we are aware it is in a residential community, as are the applicants. So the exterior lighting, the project is also conditioned so that all exterior parking lot lights are shielded, and they're aimed directly down So there'll be very little, if any, light trespass, excess lighting on the adjacent residential properties. The project does qualify for 2 categorical exemptions under CEQA. The Class 2 exemption, which is replacement and reconstruction, and the Class 32 infill development. And finally, city staff recommends that the Planning Commission conduct the public hearing and adopt a resolution approving plot plan number PLN 19-0065, subject to the attached conditions and findings. That concludes staff's presentation, and I'm available if you have further questions.
Thank you for that, Mr. Brown. Fellow commissioners, any questions for staff on this?
I did have a question.
Please.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Russell, for the presentation. Looks like it's going to be a beautiful building. And I noticed you covered some of the issues that were brought up by concerned neighbors, so thank you for that. I did want to ask if there is dust or noise coming from the site, is there going to be a sign on the property where somebody can call and say, hey, can we take care of this?
Yes, there will be. That's part of what's written in the conditions of approval. There is notices, postings on site that list the contact information for the various contractors. So it is visible. It's a requirement that will be available.
Great, thank you.
Good job, Russell. Beautiful building. So we know the technical parts. What would you say gut-wise was different? We know it's less square footage. I noticed there's less parking spaces.
I think they, based on what's being proposed and what's existing and what's proposed. The applicant, Joe Van Hoster, he's standing by and could definitely fill you in a little bit further. But based on what I saw, it looks like they're getting they're kind of condensing the various auditorium and meeting halls into one location, as well as getting rid of a handful of storage areas. The site was originally built in 1964 as one building, and then since then they've had a couple different building permit applications, kind of add-ons here or there. So they are kind of simplifying the building. I think it better suits their needs and what they're looking for, and it's definitely a little more of kind of their development and kind of their feel. What they're proposing is beautiful, and that what they're using in other areas of the country as well. So I think it really just kind of suits their needs of what they're looking for, and it's downsizing a little bit, as we said.
Yeah, I see the drainage helps the area too. So.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
Nice.
it's over 20,000 square feet of an increase in the pervious area. So
Right.
yeah, that's a definite improvement.
All right, thank you.
And any other questions?
Yeah, one quick question. On the, not the area that's not gonna be paved or building, that's right, I got a frog in my throat. Excuse me. And I saw the planting plan, but what do they have any kind of ground cover on that, or is it just gonna be dirt?
There is ground cover being proposed. It's primarily consists of bark and mulch. It will not be it'll be the whole site will be kind of regraded and scraped. What they're proposing there is 3 or 4 large trees, but the ground cover will be mulch, bark, items like that.
Commissioner White, any questions?
Don't have any questions. Well done. Read the packet.
If
Thank
I
you.
can add to that too, so those open areas that used to be parking spaces, like Russell said, they will have covering, but the covering would be consistent with the requirement for water quality, because they're using those areas as self-treating areas, so it's just not going to be dirt or anything, a covering that is not acceptable as a BMP.
So the water it'll be basically its own basin and percolate?
Right, so,
Okay.
well, not necessarily percolate, but kind of like treated into those self-treating areas before they go to 3 different basin or BMPs that they're proposing.
All right, and then no changes, right, to the driveways or the flow of traffic. Is that correct on this project?
The two existing there are 3 existing driveways on the site. One of them gets closed, but the 2 remain as existing. They improve them a bit, but yes.
Yeah, they will make them commercial type driveways.
So we don't foresee any issues to change of traffic flow or anything like that. And will the closure of the third driveway have any negative effect? No. Commissioner or Vice Chair, did you have another question?
Yeah, I do, Cheryl. So did the applicant agree with all the conditions of approval?
I think we'll get that question answered shortly here in a minute.
All right, thanks.
Any other questions for staff? All right, then at this time, we'll open the public hearing at 6:23 p.m. Madam Clerk, was this hearing legally noticed?
Yes, it was.
And has there been any correspondence received on this matter?
There was no further correspondence from what Mr. Brown announced.
Other than what, and that's in the package, right? All right. Any public comments?
No public comments.
All right. Would the applicant, Mr. Van Hester, like to speak regarding this matter?
We'd just like to give our thanks to the City of Menifee for working with us on the project. To answer some of your concerns, we purchased this building. It was formerly a Jewish synagogue, so it was built and additions were made for their usage. It currently has a kitchen, a couple of large storage rooms. We just don't have use for those facilities. And so we'd like to bring the building more up to date, up to code. And right now, if you drive by, it's basically got very little landscaping or landscape buffers for the neighbors. So we took a look at the site. The location is what's good for us and the members of our congregations. So we'd like to see an improvement for the neighborhood on the site. I've read the staff report and the conditions of approval, and we agree wholeheartedly with all that has been put down in writing.
Fantastic. Yes. It's no small undertaking, but it should definitely improve the area. So thank you for doing that. Does anybody have any questions for the applicant? No, hearing none. All right. And we already indicated that the applicant agrees to all the conditions of approval here. Madam Clerk, any public comments come in during that discussion?
No public comments.
All right. With that, we'll close the public hearing at 6:25 p.m. Commissioners, any comments or discussion on this plan? Yes, right? Looking forward to seeing the end results. All right, there's one resolution for adoption here. Can I get a motion and a second to adopt a resolution approving plot plan number PLN 19-0065? Looks like we got that already.
Oh, I know, I thought I voted when I seconded. It's okay. It's not.
So that motion passed 5-0.
Beautiful.
All right, that ends that item. Moving on to item number 10, discussion items. No discussion items for tonight. Moving on to item number 11, Community Development Director comments. Do you have any comments for us tonight, Cheryl?
The only thing I want to share is that we have our second workshop and EIR scoping meeting for the housing element and general plan update tomorrow evening. It will be virtual. The information to connect to that meeting is on the city's website under the community development housing element update page. 6 p.m. if I didn't say that already. So we are actively moving forward on that work effort. We anticipate a third workshop this spring, and then anticipate public hearings in front of commission and city council for additional public participation this summer, late summer.
Do the commissioners have a separate login link, like as in other hearings, than the public one, or is it the same as the public?
It's the same.
Same as the public.
Yes, because it isn't a commission meeting. It's just a public workshop.
We just want to keep in mind, right, if multiple commissioners log in tomorrow night, to be careful about any public comments that are being made to try to avoid any Brown Act violations. I did see, Cheryl, if you have one quick, I did see that there was an announcement of the first restaurant. Sorry, Jeff, I'll get to you in a second. The first restaurant being announced for Menifee Town Center.
For Centerpoint,
Yeah, thank you.
are you talking about the Mediterranean one?
No. So Menifee Town Center, the Dave's Hot Chicken.
Oh, I didn't see that. I'm sorry.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, that just was announced on social media today.
Right. The city announced that today, so that's fantastic. Another new development that's going to be coming up. Do you have any idea when they might be opening, or did I surprise you there?
You surprised me a little bit. I'm sorry about that. I did not check social media this afternoon before our meeting.
I'll ask Gina then. Any other questions for?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Cheryl, I wanted to ask you, speaking of social media, I do check social media quite often. I like to follow the comments about projects going on in the city. We've had a lot of really good feedback with the Salt Creek Trail, and I've ridden it myself. It's great. It's awesome. My kids love it. One of the comments I've seen most is with regard to parking for those who are not riding to the trail. They're actually driving and maybe offloading bikes or such. Is there a place where they can park to enjoy the trail?
So great highlight for and promo for the new Salt Creek Trail. That was a county project that they completed. Ultimately, when it is finished, it will connect from Menifee all the way out to Hemet. The link in the city is a beautiful amenity. Staff is exploring options for parking, but there is parking along Antelope Road, along the west side of Antelope Road. There were no parking signs there before, but those signs are not there anymore.
Can I ask a quick question about that? So if it's gonna connect up to Hemet, where's the section that goes through the golf course? Is there gonna be a public trail through the golf course?
I don't know that any alignment or right-of-way has been acquired yet. That's why there's the missing link.
Is that the plan, though?
I don't know. Again, it is a county project, so I'm not sure. I think it should follow the creek through, which would be through the course.
Yeah.
The maps I've seen look like it goes to the north of the course, not through the golf course itself.
Okay.
Along the north side.
Okay.
All
Any
right.
other questions for me? No? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl. Item 12, Commission, do you have anything to report on for committee activities?
We've been reviewing the MCAC submissions for the community block grant money, and I think we have a meeting coming up on Tuesday the 30th, I believe.
That'll be your first
that-
meeting.
that'll be
That
the first
you've gotten the applications, and
Yep.
you'll be having your first meeting.
Yep.
Okay, great, fantastic.
I do have one question for Cheryl. Based on the states, it looks like they're reopening certain things. You know, they're slowly reopening. Schools are talking about, we got a notice from Santa Rosa, they're talking about opening up the elementary, and there's a lot of places they're opening up. Does the city have a planned official opening here of full service rather than virtual?
We don't have a date right now. We are tracking all of the reopenings. Generally, our metric has been if we get back into the red tier, we'll look at that phased in reopening like we did over the summer.
Okay. And would the parks follow? Are the parks technically still closed? They're not. They're open. Okay. But they're usually closed under purple, right? They're not purple or whatever the full closure was.
We're gonna move to.
I believe parks are open. It's youth sports that are closed right now, or common like group activities. But a lot of that is opening and being released now. I don't believe youth sports are yet, but we are tracking the numbers, and it's likely that that is coming in the weeks to
For
come.
the spring and summer activities.
If I may.
Fingers crossed, right?
Actually, so youth sports is allowed to commence once we get to, I think, 14 per 100,000. And the numbers come out on Tuesday. Last Tuesday, Riverside County was at 28.8, I think, and this week they came out at we were just over 16. So it's a big drop, and I think a lot of people are anticipating another big drop for next Tuesday. If we get below 14, then we'll start to see a lot of organized youth sports happening. On that note, driving over here from my house, I've passed by a lot of parks, and there's a lot of kids out playing, and it's awesome to see people out doing sports, practicing, just being out there. It's cool to see. We should see some more of that soon.
Then one other question on the PPE and whatever else they're called, the small business loans. I was seeing, that was about 2 weeks ago or something, that the city released saying, a newsletter saying, come apply for these. So is that a new round of federal funding, or what is that? The loans, the small business grants?
Yeah, it's a new round of small business grants that the city is offering. And then if you're interested, we will be discussing, that whole business grant program that the city did at the council meeting next Wednesday.
Anything else? No? All right. Item 13, any requests for future agenda items? Hearing none, we'll adjourn the meeting at 6:34 p.m. Thank you, everyone.